So it's time that I show you one of my new ships. Well, technically a new ship, although I've been flying it for the past like 2 weeks now. So this is the Rapture Interdictor, or you can call this thing the broadsword if you like, because it's kind of the same thing, although it does miss some, it's missing some key, let's say, physical features of the broadsword, but it's about the same thing. And honestly, I kind of started to like this thing. It is a very interesting little ship, completely new experience, that's for sure. So let me quickly show the ship stats first. Now, of course, this is a interdictor. It will have the disruption field generator. The advanced repulsion jamming bonus will give plus 5% shield, plus 12.5% warp disruption field effective range. The Rapture Interdictor alongside the Thorax have the biggest bubbles, which makes it very easy to use for regional gates, and overall it is very easy to capture hostile ships with big bubbles. It has 1 drone, 4 high slots, 5 medium slots, 5 low slots, 3 combat and 3 engineering rigs. As we have already seen, this is primarily a shield tank, don't armor tank the Rapture Interdictor. The capacitor is almost 3000 gigajoules. I don't know why they couldn't just give it 3000, it's 2199 exactly, which is kind of funny. And the other stats are fine. The Rapture is definitely one of the faster bubble ships, although I still have to work on the speed on the ship. Now I have several builds. If you have been watching some of my previous videos, you might have seen some of them. But this ship's build is constantly work in progress. So far, this is the current build that I use: a passive shield tank with dual adaptives, a diameter, and a large extender with an afterburner. Although I also kind of like the dual propulsion build on this ship. Works really well when you have to speed tank battleships at 0, which is something that I'll have to do quite often since I'll be flying this thing. And the rigs are tank rigs. I also have the plans for a DPS interdictor. This one is kind of the experiment that I'm doing right now, but maybe I'll decide to go with a DPS interdictor for my next project. We will see. Basically, you can pull the same build that I have on the Cinnabal on this ship. It will have lower DPS, but the total DPS with the barrage and everything else enabled will be pretty good, even with only 4 high slots. So the primary job for these ships is to hold ships, to catch ships, to bubble ships, and basically be a menace in null space. Now let me show you the tank here. 17,000 shields and 1 km per second afterburner speed. Now the speed is of course one thing that I have to improve. The tank is okay, but the tank can also be improved. I don't have my shield general units, which would be very good on this thing. Would extend the shield by up to, I think, 30%, and if I change the rigs a little bit, I might be able to fit a better extender. So we're looking maybe at a total of 30,000 in shield when I have everything set in place for the ship. I mean, I say set in place, I have a lot of ideas, and I'm still trying to figure out what's basically going to be the best for this ship.
Request accepted.
But so far with this build, I'm more than happy. It's been doing really well. I've also tried the active tank. The active tank is one aspect that I haven't really been improving on the Rapture Interdictor, because for some reason I just seem to prefer the passive tank on the ship. We will see. Maybe I'll have to do some magic with the rigs in order to see how that will go. Now today I'll be flying, besides flying the Rapture, I'll be flying the Macarial, I'll be flying the usual ships. And let's warm up with some very nice targets. We have a Balgorn. Have been destroying a lot of Balgorns recently. I like to fly that. I used to like to fly that ship, but the Balgorn isn't exactly what it used to be. Now it's at best a C-class ship, to be honest. It's not what it used to be. It used to be very dangerous. Now a simple Macarial can just eat the Balgorn for breakfast, as we're about to find out. Well, there's the Balgorn. Let's quickly lock on. That was a fantastic warping, by the way. scrambled, webbed, and let's go full power on the Balor. Well, seems to be tanky, a little bit. Although, yeah, the tank is gone. Oh, that's a nice first catch. There we go. Balor destroyed. So let's take a look at the wreck. That's not the wreck, that's the pods. Let's take a look at the wreck. There we go. I got some debris. Not bad, I'll take it. Okay, let's warp out. Well, I always like to start with a very juicy kill first. It's a good luck charm, I guess. Usually that's the sign that's going to be a pretty good day. Although not exactly, doesn't have exactly some rules to follow, but you know, it's usually a sign that it's going to be a very good day. Alright, well, where is the station? I don't see the station. Sometimes when I warp around, the objects seem to be all over the place. Okay, let's take a look at the kill here. 4.9 billion, not bad. Well, this Balor had some form of tank, but it wasn't enough to tank a Macarial. In the end, pretty good start, and that was a juicy first kill. Now let's do something hilarious. Can you guess how much this Thrasher costs in total? This Thrasher costs about, I think it's like 4 or 5 million total in IP cost. It's ridiculously cheap. And I use this thing just to have some good laughs, and I use this thing just to have some fun. So, and I use this thing for lower priority targets like mining ships and similar. And we have a Procurer. That was a very good weapon. They have been scrambled, and I'll approach at 0. Now I'm using autocannons with this ship because I have the barrage implant and it does some pretty good DPS. I missed the ram, although I think 3 scramblers are going to be enough to hold the ship in place. Well, this is one thing where low tier ships can be useful for. They can be useful just to have some fun and just have a good laugh. That's why I use these ships for. For more serious targets, I use serious ships, of course, but I thought to do something hilarious, and there we go. The mining ship has been destroyed. Unfortunately, it didn't have any good loot. Sometimes the mining ships drop some very juicy stuff, although sometimes the kill itself is the best thing. So the kill value, the salt, usually that's the best reward. Actual loot is just a bonus. 225 million ISK. So a 225 million ISK ship got blown up by a 5 million ISK ship. Yeah, it's kind of funny. This thing is so cheap. You can do silly stuff like this and always be positive, basically. They had some integrations. I think they had some integrations actually. Very fun, I guess. Very interesting. I don't know. Next, we have a Ferox. Now, as you can see, we like to switch roles here, literally. Sometimes I'm the bubble, sometimes my friends are bubble, depends on the situation. Sometimes when I need to have the trunk out, because the Tempest fleet is a very good ship that can fend off a bunch of hostile ships. It's a very good ship that can withstand a lot of DPS. And when I think that we might have some company, I fly the Tempest, because that thing can just tank everything. It's a brick. My Megathron Navy, I haven't been using that. It's kind of built in the same way as the Tempest, with slight differences. But that thing is also very, very tanky, and it's built to withstand a lot of DPS as well. But its primary purpose is to be dropped at carriers. But so far I haven't had a chance to drop any. Haven't had a chance to drop any navy on a carrier, unfortunately. Haven't had the luck to do that. And that was the Ferox, 105 million. A nice little kill. not going to complain at all. Now, next target, we have a Malar Guardian, and I usually include interesting rare ships. The Malar Guardian is kind of an interesting and rare ship, especially when you look at the nanocore that they have. Based on the effects, you already know that they have the Illusionary Ghost nanocore, and that's not exactly a cheap one. That's actually a fairly expensive nanocore. And usually when you see expensive nanocores, you can expect a expensive ship to be in return. So we will see what... Oh, and look, a shield tank Omen. Okay, now, well, not Omen, but a shield tank Malar. You know what I said about maybe having some good... Yeah, I pull back what I said. I don't have a good feeling when I saw that Malar start to shield tank, because really, one of the best armor tank cruisers has a shield tank. You cannot make that up. Well, to try 19 million, and oh my god, that's cursed. Yeah, that's a not how you build a ship, that's for sure. That's very, very bad build. Very bad. A decent value though, but it's not exactly what I would call a good kill. Next we have a lag. Okay. This is my internet in action. No, yeah, it's just, it glitched out completely. Right, well, now I am a little bit alone here, and we have a new ship. Well, new target that jumped in. I think it was a Harvey. I have eyes all over the place basically, so we can't really be surprised. I have eyes in 4 systems, I believe. So nothing can surprise us. Nothing can approach. If I see a fleet, it's going to be well ahead. And actually no, it's a probe covered up, so okay, my apologies. The Harvey probably going to be after the probe, but let's approach the probe. Solo bubbling is something that I started to like a lot. It's quite interesting, honestly. They're trying to run away, but that's not going to work. Triple web, then scrambled. I have the afterburner, which works really well. I would like to have a afterburner and micro overdrive with this build, but Power Grid said no, so I can't really put that. I can't really assemble that build at the moment. I mean, I can technically, but
autopilot engaged.
I mean, maybe if I do change the rigs, maybe I can fit both, but it will sacrifice a bit of my tank, and I value tank a lot. The damage control for a bubble is very important, so I would definitely like to keep the damage control if possible. Let's see what's the next ship that's going to pop in. Still also still kind of learning the Raptures. Trying to figure out what's the best idea for the ship. I've seen a couple builds that I like. Some builds I like, some builds I don't really like. And I think in the end I'll just come up with something of my own, because I know that not every build will be suitable for my my tank preference or my speed preference. So in the end I'll just try to assemble the ship according to my liking. And it's usually how it goes with, you know, every single ship that I have. And that's the Harvey. Okay, now the Harvey is incoming. Note that the idea for a passive tank came from the realization that it's a Mimotaur ship and its overall capacitor isn't really the best. And I could make this ship to be a fantastic active tank, a fantastic active shield tank, but I would have to sacrifice a lot of tank for capacitor batteries for a booster. I will also have to sacrifice a medium slot or two for a Nosferatu or two, since, as I already mentioned, the shield booster eats a lot of capacitor, and in order to have a proper tank you want to have some form of capacitor stability. So that's basically the reason why I have the passive shield tank on this ship. We will see where my journey will take me with the Rupture. Maybe I'll come back to a active tank. I don't know. I mean, I'll definitely play around with both variations, but we will see what I'll do at the end with this thing. I mean, as I already mentioned, a bunch of ideas, and I'm trying to see what works and what doesn't work. We'll take some trial and error, but you know, that's just how it goes. Well, this Harvey seems to be sleeping. I am orbiting at 3 kilometers. If the Harvey does wake up, I think I might be able to speed tank them since I have more webs and an afterburner. So even if they web me, I am still going to be able to go faster than them. So that's the triple web idea. Also, triple webs will help you a lot versus battleships that also have webs. You will still be faster than them. So one of the reasons why I like the triple web setup on these ships, because I can just speed tank battleships. Of course, I'm not going to be able to speed tank battleships with missiles. Battleships with missiles probably the largest threat, although turret battleships with large weapons, close range or long range, at 0 they are not going to be able to hit. Maybe a maybe a Vindicator will be able to hit because it has better webs, but... Alright, next target. We have one Apocalypse Striker heading our way. That's going to be fun. Apocalypse Strikers can be a little bit scary. They're definitely no joke, but I think I should be good. Again, 3 webs a scrambler, and I'll be able to orbit at 0, but we will see. One thing, I mean, I already know that's going to work. I've done it 1,000 times, but you never know, since luck is a big factor. If you have no luck, then then everything else is basically pointless. So, waiting for the Apocalypse to pop in. They jumped in, okay. There is the Apocalypse, let's rush towards it. Now this is where a micro wall drift could have probably been a better idea, and then swap to the afterburner once you are close, but you know, I think this will work as well. Webbed scrambled, orbiting at 0. And this should work without a problem. Just orbit at 0. The ship is huge, so I'll have no issues with tracking. I mean, it would be hilarious if I started to miss the Apocalypse at 0. After all... yeah, it works, okay. Not a big deal, not a big one. Well, seems like this Apocalypse might have a golden nanocore. We will find that out, I guess. There we go. Let's take a look at wreck. Well, some decent loot, that's for sure. Not really sure what build they had. They definitely had pulse lasers. And pulse lasers are kind of dangerous with the Apocalypse, so... I mean, it depends on the build, honestly. If they have a lot of webs, then it might be, maybe problematic, but let's take a look at the kill. If it wants to load, that is. 3.2 billion, okay. 3 webs in a Nosferatu, yeah, I think I would be able to speed tank that. And of course a golden nanocore, we already guessed that's the case. Well, looks pretty good. Looks pretty nice, not going to complain about that. That was a pretty good target. And a pretty good kill as well. Alright, well, let's go to the next target. Now the next target is a interesting one. We have a stabber sniper that's cloaked at the other side of the gate. Now I've seen a lot of different builds, I've seen a lot of hilarious ideas, but a cloaky stabber sniper, that's a new one for me. I mean, if you want a cloaky cruiser with cannons, you have the cells. It's not going to work the same way on any other ship, but I don't know, we will see if they jump in. Could potentially be a scout. Now my alt is also on the other side of the gate watching, so they don't know that I'm there. They have no idea that I'm watching it, that I've seen them cloak. So definitely a interesting moment. I've again no idea what to expect from that ship, but if they jump in, I'll try to catch them. My decloak game should be pretty good, so I have high hopes that I'll be able to catch them. Alright, well, they jumped in. There is the stabber. And they cloaked, as expected. So let me see, they cloaked around that. Let me approach that position. I have a micro wardriff. In this case, the micro wardriff is the better option for decloaking stuff, since you want to get to their position as quickly as possible, and this is going to be the fastest approach method that I have at the moment with a micro wardriff. So they should be here somewhere. Need to work on decloaking them. Could work. There they are. It worked actually. Okay. Now let's approach. Have two weapons. Scramble them. I have no idea what build they have. Well, I know one module that they have. They have the cloaking device, most important module out there. And that was quick. Although unfortunately we missed a couple more ships that jumped. It just bad timing, honestly. Even if my bubble was like 3 times, I don't know, larger, I would still miss that hurricane that jumped. That's a very lucky hurricane. A very lucky hurricane that appeared just at the right time to escape. Oh well, it happens. Now let me go back to my original position. I think if I don't, I think I'll post the build here on screen in a moment, since I think I actually forgot to record that thing, but to check the kill, because I didn't. That's Iralsnik. Okay, now I know I forgot to. Now I understand why I actually forgot to take a look at the kill. I was carried away by the Iralsnik kill. That was a pretty good kill as well. Next we have a hurricane. It's going to get blown up very quickly. There we go. Another successfully bubbled ship. That's beautiful. Let's loot up the wreck and then we can go to the next target, I believe.
Autopilot engaged.
Now here we have a incoming, I believe it was a incoming transport ship. And I think this is going to be an example of a failed decloak. I have already done micro warp driven. Now the cloaky haulers can be a bit tricky to
Autopilot
find,
engaged.
especially if they cloak immediately after they jump in, because if you do it in a correct way, you basically are not going to be able to be spotted visually at all. So just waiting to see when the ship will pop in, and then we will see what will happen to the transport ship. Maybe I catch it, maybe not. Maybe not. I actually forgot, but we're about to find that out very soon. Okay, the ship has jumped in. And let's see if I get lucky. Maybe not, maybe yes, maybe not. There's the Badger too, but yeah, it cloaked. That's the one that I actually missed. Oh well, it happens. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. Oh well, that was a nice little, I would say, test run with the new ship. Well, I say test run. Still learning to see what's the best for the Rupture. Maybe down the road I will keep the build, or maybe not. Again, it really depends on a lot of things. But so far, I really do like the idea behind this ship. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. If you would like to support me, feel free to like and subscribe. And with that being said, stay safe, fly safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.